Yes, students. So let's start with today's topic. Now you can see on your screen there are few sentences. Let's read those sentences first. The first one, I ate an apple. The boy in the red shirt is my cousin. She doesn't have much money. There was little money in the house. I didn't see any oranges in the market. That is their house. Every human being is unique. Now see these words. What these words are actually doing, the words in red, they are actually helping us to identify or specify a noun in some way. They are signaling towards the coming of a noun. See, right after the word which is in red, the noun appears. An apple, the boy, the red shirt, my cousin. So this way, what exactly are these? These are all determiners. So determiners are words which are used to identify or specify a noun in some way. Your books, this poem, the highest peak, every citizen. So what a determiner does? It actually signals the coming of a noun. They work like adjectives. They also qualify the noun that follows. Determiners can also be interpreted in the way that they are words placed in front of a noun to make clear what the noun refers to. That means they point out that noun. And there is one more thing regarding determiners, that they limit the meaning of a noun. So see these examples, these are all determiners, the, an, this, my, your, a little, some, any, etc. So determiners are the words which identify or specify a noun. They point out that noun, they limit the meaning of a noun. Determiners and adjectives. Sometimes students basically confuse determiners as adjectives. There is a slight difference between determiners and adjectives. Adjectives, they describe a noun. This we all know very well. And determiners, they specify, identify, or point out that noun. Take this example, tall tree. It can be any tree which is tall. It is describing a tree which is very tall. It can be any tree. But see here, when I say this tree, it is pointing out that particular tree. So it is actually limiting the meaning of noun. I'm limiting it by saying, pointing out at one particular tree, that is this tree. So adjectives, they describe a noun, but determiners, they not only identify, specify a noun, but they also point out that noun and they limit the meaning of a noun. Adjectives, they change their form, but determiners, they do not. Like if we say tall, taller, tallest, but this tree, this cannot, the form of this cannot be changed. And an adjective can be placed before or after a noun. As for example, the mangoes are sweet. I like sweet mangoes. So see the placement, right? Adjective can be placed before a noun or after a noun, but a determiner can only be placed before a noun. So you cannot say this is a tree, because when you say this is a tree, this here is acting as a pronoun. Then at that time, this is a tree. The word this is not a determiner. So to be a determiner, a noun should follow right after the word which is acting as a determiner. So this tree, right? So this way, a determiner can only be placed before a noun. Different classes of determiners. So what are different categories in which determiner can be classified? So these are articles, demonstratives, quantifiers, possessives, distributives, interrogatives. So let's understand all these one by one. So let's start from articles. Articles are classified in two groups, that is definite article and indefinite article. Articles a and the. So the indefinite articles are a or an, signal that the reference is non-specific or in general. Like a box of chocolates was eaten by Charles. So referring to any box. It could be any box which is full of chocolates that was eaten by Charles. But the definite article the signals that the reference is more specific. Like the visitors are coming. That means we know about the visitors there. We know them, and that's why we are sure who are going to come. So we are particularizing the visitors. So let's understand more about these indefinite and the definite articles. So let's first start with indefinite article, that is a and an. You already know that how a or an, they suggest one. They are used before countable nouns in the singular number. I'm repeating it again. This article a or an, they suggest one number. They are used before countable nouns in singular form. And we use article a with a consonant sounding words. This is very important to understand, because when we have to use article a or an, we have to look at the sound of the word produced, right? You don't have to see that if it is starting from a, e, I, o, u, you have to place a vowel there. An is to be placed there, but you have to see the sound produced by a particular word. So A is used with consonant sounding word like a shop, a train, a university. Now the word university, it starts with the letter U. U is a vowel here, but see the sound of U produced here. Yeah, it's a consonant sound, and hence we use article A here. Similarly, an is used with vowel sounding words like an apple, an ice cream, then an honest person. Now see the word honest, although it starts with a consonant, but the sound that we are getting is of O. Here H is silent, and that's why we use article and with it, because we are getting the sound of O, not of her, and that's why an is used here, right? So this way we use a and an. So you have to keep this in mind, that you have to look for the sounds that the word produce, not the letter. You don't have to look at the letter only. Understand what is the sound produced by the words and accordingly put the article there. Then there is the definite article the. You have to also be very careful about the article the, its pronunciation. ठीक है, आप अगर इसे ध्यान से देखो, when this article the is used before a vowel, the sound becomes the, right? The apple, right? But if it is used before a consonant, you have to pronounce it the chair, the shoes, the book, that way. Okay? Now next. So where do we use this article the? First thing first is when we want to particularize a noun, then we use the books lying on the table, right? So that way, which books I'm talking about? The books which are lying on the table. So particularly the books which are on the table. So that way article the is used there. Then when you're mentioning something for a first time, you use article a or an, but if you're referring the same thing again, then you use the. Suppose if I give an example, Gaurav presented me a book. The book contains several interesting stories. So when we first introduced the sentence, we introduced the particular noun there, we used a or an there. And if we are repeating it again, that means we are particularizing it and we use the there. Then we use the when we use the article with adjectives in superlative degrees, like the fastest animal, the most hardworking student in the class, that way. We also use the with the adjectives in comparative degree. When you're comparing things like he is the more experienced of the two candidates. So you're comparing and you're talking about the comparative degree, and that way we use the also before that adjective. Then when the things which are very unique, very extraordinary, like if it is only one in the whole universe, the sun, the moon, the equator, the earth, that way we use the there. Then when a common noun is used to represent the whole class, this is a very common example that you have read, that is, the dog is a faithful animal. So with the example of dog, this common noun, we are actually talking about the whole class of the dogs. The camel is the ship of the desert. So this way, when we are taking a common noun to refer to a particular class, the whole class. And also before an adjective or past participle to represent a whole class of people, like the rich, the poor. So that way we also use the there. And there is a whole list of the things, like before the mountain ranges, the Himalayas, the Alps, group of islands, the Andamans, the West Indies, name of rivers, gulfs, canals, seas, oceans, we use the. With well-known historical buildings, we use the, like the Taj Mahal, the Qutub Minar, then holy books, the Bible, the Gita, with name of the newspapers, the Hindu, the Washington Post, the Times of India, names of trains, ships, aeroplanes, cardinal directions, the east, the north, the west, etc. With the names of countries that contain a common noun, like the United Kingdom, the USA, that way. And with the names of whole family, that is the Bachchans, the Khans, the Kapoors, we use the there. Now there is certain exception to this rule also, where we don't use the. First is with proper nouns, we don't use the. कभी भी किसी के proper noun के साथ, if you are calling someone Rahul, come here, हम ये नहीं कहेंगे the Rahul, come here. हम proper nouns के साथ, we never use the article, right? Then with the materials or things, we don't use article the. Like this table is made of teak. You will not say the teak, right? This table is made of the teak. If you use the there, it becomes wrong. With abstract nouns, हम उन abstract nouns के आगे भी the नहीं लगाते हैं. Very common example. Honesty is the best policy. So the honesty word, it's an abstract noun, and we will not use the in front of these kind of words. Then with the names of diseases, we don't use the. With the names of lunch, dinner, breakfast, we don't use the. So these are some of the exceptions where we use article and we don't use articles. The next one. Demonstrative. This, that, these, those, and such shows that who or what is being referred to, means they point towards something or someone. These pairs of shoes are mine. So I'm pointing towards some pairs of shoes and referring to it as shoes are mine. I think that girl is their leader, pointing towards a girl who is standing at a distance, and that girl is their leader. Now, these demonstrative, this and that is used with singular noun. These and those used with plural nouns. And this and these is referred to point out at objects which are close to us, objects which are very close to the speaker. And that and those are used with the things or persons which are at a distance, जो हमसे दूरी पर हैं. So to point out at those things or person, we use that or those. Such is also used, like such men, such people, you can use that. Then the next is Possessive. Possessive, these words are also used as pronouns, but when you are using it as determiner, remember that the noun should follow with these words. So these are the form of words that show that something or someone belongs to someone, means it shows possession, right? So words like my, your, his, her, are, their, its, these all are the words which shows possession, right? My brother Rohit will celebrate his birthday tomorrow. I'm not talking about any other boy. I'm talking about Rohit, who is my brother. I will show you our new pet. The girl is their leader. So this way it shows the possession. Next comes the distributives. Each, every, either, neither, or you can also pronounce it as either, neither. So these are the words, they actually refer singly without exception to the member of a group. That means to say that these words, they show that the person or things are taken one at a time. That means each of you can go to the market. Maybe I'm talking to some group of person and telling them individually one by one at a time that you can go to market. Every country expects loyalty from its people. It is taking people as a group here, although we are again referring to individual, but now we are addressing to the group as a whole. So let's understand it in a proper way. So each and every, we use each when we think of people or things separately. That means one by one. I questioned each member and got the same answer. That means in a group, I questioned each and every one by one, separately one by one, right? And every is used when we think of people or things as a group. So that way, I know every line of this poem by heart. That means I have learned the whole poem by heart and I know each and every line properly. I'm taking the whole poem as a one here. Then each is again used with the words which refer to small number, preferably two or to a limited group. And every is used when the number is large or indefinite. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान में रखना है. Each is used with a small number, a limited group, and every is used with the number which is large or indefinite. ठीक है. Next. Next comes either, neither. Either can be used in two ways. When any of the two different things or persons is referred. Say if I take an example, we can hold the meeting on Monday or Tuesday. Either day is suitable. That means दोनों में से कोई भी दिन suitable है. There were trees on either side of the road. That means we are referring to both. कि दोनों तरफ, सड़क के दोनों तरफ पेड़ लगे हुए थे. So इस तरह से either depicts any one of the two things a person referred or both. And neither is the opposite of either. So neither book covers my syllabus. We have received two proposals. Neither proposal is practicable. So this way we use the distributives each, every, either, neither. I hope it is clear to all of you. These are the things that you are not learning it for the first time. You have done this in your previous classes as well. So it's just a revision. Then we have the interrogatives acting as determiner. The words starting with W or H, which are used to ask questions. So we refer to them as interrogative determiner. And like if I say, whose pen is this? Whose pen? Now to act whose to be a determiner, a noun should follow it. If I say whose is this pen, then it is not acting as a determiner there. So एक word determiner होने के लिए वो noun के साथ अगर मैं कहूँ कि वो चिपका होना चाहिए, right? बिल्कुल noun के साथ follow करेगा. So what style did you use in this handwriting? I cannot say what is your style of handwriting, right? If I say what is your style, then it is not acting as a determiner. So ये जो interrogatives होते हैं, they will act as a determiner when they are followed by a noun, not with any verb or pronoun. So which way, whose pen, these are all acting as determiner here. Next is the quantifiers. Quantifiers, these are the noun, the words which show the amount of something. Few, much, most, some, any, many, a lot of, enough, little, all these which refer to the amount. Now quantifiers, see these examples. Some students are not in their proper uniform. If you see any oranges in the market, please buy some for me. She doesn't have much money. We haven't got many books. Now see here, we see these determiners used with both nouns which are in number and which are in quantity. So how do we actually categorize it? So quantifiers को हम दो हिस्सों में लेते हैं, एक which refers to quantity and others which refer to number. So we actually distinguish these words in this manner. So quantity means जिसको आप measure करते हो, जिसको आप गिन नहीं सकते, उनके साथ हम words use करते हैं like some, any, much, less, little, a little, the little. इसी तरह numbers which can be counted, उनके साथ some जो word है both quantity and number दोनों के साथ use होता है. Many, fewer, few, a few, the few. So there are different sorts of words which are used for referring to the number which can be counted. So let's take these examples one by one. Some and any. So to express quantity, some is used in affirmative sentences जहाँ पर positive response होता है and any in negative. So अभी हमने पढ़ा कि some और any जो है वो दोनों quantity और numbers दोनों के साथ use होते हैं, ठीक है? So to express quantity, अगर आप positive way में ले रहे हो तो we use some. If it is a negative, then any. जैसे I have some milk. It's a positive statement. Affirmative कि हाँ मेरे पास थोड़ा सा दूध बचा है, but I do not have any sugar. मेरे पास sugar नहीं है. Some is used in interrogative sentences when making a polite request. Will you give me some sugar? Some is in conditional sentences. We can use this way, any or some. If there are any oranges in the market, please buy some. Again, अगर तुम्हें कुछ oranges मिले तो कुछ खरीद लेना. So some for positive affirmation and to inquire something, to ask something. In conditional, we use any. Use of any in interrogative and negative. Did you buy any stamp? तो जब आप सवाल पूछ रहे हो हम any कहते हैं. Did you buy some stamp? नहीं पूछेंगे. Did you buy any stamp? I didn't see any oranges in market. So negative में any का use होता है. Much, many. Much जो है it stands for quantity, many denotes number. तो याद रखना much का usage हमने करना है with abstract nouns, with quantity that can be measured but not counted, and many is used with numbers. Were there many people watching the movie? She doesn't have much money. ठीक है? So money के साथ हमने much का usage किया और people जो कि number है, countable number है, many का use किया. There are certain words which can replace many and much. Like many को आप replace कर सकते हो with a lot of, lots of, a good many, plenty, plenty of, a great number of. Much के साथ जो replace हो सकते हैं like a great deal of, a good deal, a large quantity, plenty, a lot of. Next. Little, a little, the little. Few, a few, the few समझना भी बहुत जरूरी है. Little जब use होता है, इसका मतलब वो hardly any, means negative. It has a negative meaning. There was little that she could do to help the patient. So वो बहुत कुछ नहीं कर सकती थी, बहुत little hope था. So there was little hope and little that she could do. A little जो है वो refer करता है summately, means sufficient amount. It has an affirmative meaning. There is a little water in the bottle, so he can quench his thirst. Means sufficient amount hai to quench the thirst. And the little refers to the whole quantity, right? He wasted the little strength he had in being angry. तो जो भी कुछ strength उसके पास था, जितना भी बचा था, उसने सारा waste कर दिया. So इस तरह से जैसे there is little water in the glass, please pour some water. There is a little water sufficient to quench my thirst, and the little water in the bottle that I had, I drank the whole amount. So this way it is used. And similar is the case few, a few, the few. Few किसके साथ use करते हैं? जो numbers countable होते हैं. Little, a little quantity के साथ use होता है. So few again not many, negative in number. A few positive in number, and the few referring to the whole, all of them, but few in number, right? So जैसे few oranges हैं, there are 5 people and 2 oranges. That means we need to buy more. A few oranges sufficient for the group. The few oranges in the basket, we have eaten all of them. So this way it is used. And the last part of my slide is less and fewer. These words are used with when you are comparing something. Less is used to refer to quantity, fewer referring to a number. I cannot buy less than 10 kilograms. So here, when you are comparing, when you are using than, उसके साथ हम use करते हैं less. No fewer than 2,000 people joined the strike. So fewer than. So then you are using these two numbers. You should keep this in mind that it should be used in a comparative way, right? So this is all about determiners from my side. Hope you have understood this chapter properly.